So what typical mistakes are people doing? By the way, in the second part of the video, or in the second video, um, we will also cover a lot of practical hands I played by myself, where we basically apply all the theoretical knowledge I've been teaching you here. So make sure that you watch this theory video first before jumping into the practical part. Formatting light versus wrong positions is something I see pretty often. That goes hand in hand with not really being aware about positions in general and overestimating certain hand values. But I'm gonna give you an example later for that as well, so that you exactly know what I mean. Bad 4-bet and 5-bet sizings against certain positions. Here it goes also hand in hand with the exploitative part, which I will talk about later. Which positions we should 4-bet a little bit bigger, against which positions we should 4-bet a little bit smaller. So you should be aware of that you're not using the same sizing again and again and again. One very crucial mistake is that people 4-bet out of position way too small. Since there's already so much dead money in the middle, our opponent is basically priced in when we go for a too small 4-bet. But what kind of sizings we should apply, I also am going to show you later. So this is just a little bit more generalized here, and we're not going into detail yet. Not 4-bet bluffing at all. Especially on low stakes and mid stakes, you can figure out who's in it. And you can avoid setups by being aware of who you're playing against. If someone is really tight and he's already not 3-betting that much, it is very likely that he's not 4-bet bluffing at all. And you can let go of hands which you would normally go broke with. Situations where you have pocket queens, pocket jacks, ace king or ace queen. So here you can save a lot of money. And in the post-flop section, I will also teach you that in tournaments, very often or most of the time, you make money by making good folds. And this comes along with pre-flop. Here, it's basically the same thing, that you can make so much money by just avoiding setup against those nits. But if you just play your game and you're not really aware of your opponents, then you will hardly find those spots where you can avoid those setups against you. Bad hand selection with 4-bet bluffs, I'm also going to show that later. Overplaying ace jack and ace 10 off type of hands. This is especially the case when talking about 4-bet jamming, which I will also go more in detail later. Poor 4-bet shoving ranges, not using 3-bet stats from or versus position. Here, one very valuable advice: if you're using stats, make sure that you are not only using the 3-bet overall stat. No, at least you should have a pop-up. You don't necessarily have to put it in your HUD, because I know that many people, especially when you're not so used to using, or not so used in using stats yet, you should make sure that you don't have that many stats. Although you have to have the 3-bet stats from or better would be from and versus position in a separated pop-up. So when you hover over the overall 3-bet stat, then a pop-up displays where you can see all the 3-bet from and versus position stats. They are very crucial. Many people are very aggressive in late position battles. They're 3-betting a lot from small blind and button. So that means the overall 3-bet stat is pretty loose. Yet they are 3-betting pretty tight from MP and under the gun. So if you're in a position, in an early position, you're sitting in an early position, and this guy 3-bets against you from middle position, you see his overall 3-bet stat, you might think, oh, this guy is 3-betting pretty loose. But actually in this position, he's pretty tight. And then you make wrong conclusions, and you're probably going to make wrong decisions, and you're going to be too sticky. You might 4-bet bluff him, or you wake up with too many bad hands on the flop in a 3-bet pot, and yeah, obviously you're going to lose a lot of money. So use the stats properly. Here, one advice you guys really have to internalize it. Best will be print it out, spray it on your wall, or whatever. In general, you should play straightforward and not level yourself in any kind of clicking wars or level wars pre-flop. But you can increase your win rate tremendously by avoiding huge mistakes. Additionally, I will show you spots where you can exploit the population tendencies in these days. The first part is so important. Don't get in any kind of clicking or level wars. Especially in these situations where an opponent has been 3-betting you a lot, and then in the third or fourth orbit he's 3-betting you again, or even 10 hands later, whatever, he's 3-betting you again. Guys, he's also not an idiot. He's probably aware that he has been 3-betting a lot. And I mean, let's face the truth. How often did you face an opponent, he was 3-betting you, and then finally you have a good hand to play back against, and then he has aces? It's pretty often. I don't want to give so much credit to other poker players, especially not tournament pro. I'm not saying poker tournament players are bad. No, I think they're just grinding their game and they're not really paying attention to things that can increase their win rate tremendously. But knowing or being aware of how loose someone has been playing so far is something. I mean, we're not playing against monkeys. They're still human beings. So here, don't get involved in these kind of clicking or level wars. Yet you should make adjustments here and there, or you can make even bigger adjustments. But in general, stick to your straightforward pre-flop game. There are going to be enough opponents who will punt it into you. So don't be the idiot who's punting a stack away in other guys.